Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're here, I'm hoping that you're planning a wedding. And if you're planning a wedding, you may be wondering whether or not you need a wedding day of coordinator. If you aren't sure of the difference between a wedding planner and a wedding coordinator, you should start by watching my video, What is a Wedding Planner, which I'll link up above for you. In that video, I talk about the differences between all of those terms that get super confusing. And in this video, I'm going to be talking specifically about the wedding coordination piece and why you should have a wedding day of coordinator. Before we begin, my name is Julia and I am the owner of Julia Noel Weddings. On my channel, we talk about wedding planning tips, tricks, advice, and really anything else that you should know if you're planning a wedding. So let's talk wedding coordination. Before we start, I just want to briefly mention that day of coordination is not just day of, despite the confusing name. Think about it. Your day of coordinator needs to smoothly operate your wedding day. If they're just coming onto the property on the day of your wedding and don't know anything about your wedding day or your wedding vision or who your vendors are, they're going to have a really difficult time being able to make sure that the day goes according to your plan. Every single wedding is different. There is not one wedding that is exactly the same as another. So it's really critical that your day of coordinator is briefed on all the things and all the planning that you've already put into your big day. If you've spent a year or 2 years more planning your wedding, don't you think your day of coordinator needs a little bit of a recap on what choices that you've made and how you want your day to go? So they're going to need a little bit of time to get caught up to speed and get the download on your wedding vision. Which leads me to the first reason that you need a wedding day of coordinator. With a wedding day of coordinator, no detail gets left behind. Again, they're going to be getting all the details about your wedding day so that they can properly execute your vision. And part of that process, it may become clear that there were things that you didn't think about or details that got missed. And they'll be able to help ensure that you cover them before the day of your wedding. For example, without a wedding day of coordinator, you may have forgotten all about your card box or how your gifts and cards are going to be transported from point A to point B. Or you may have forgotten about that special item that you put in the centerpieces that you want back at the end of the night, and you didn't think about the fact that your guests might need to be told because guests take the centerpieces. Yes, that happens. There are a lot of reasons why brides regret not having a wedding day of coordinator, and it's not the big stuff. I mean, that's important too. The big stuff is important too, but it's the little things, it's the little details. So having a wedding planning partner will ensure that all the details are figured out before your wedding day and that your day can go smooth. Another reason why you should have a wedding day of coordinator. You need someone to manage the timeline and the flow. A wedding is a huge event with a lot of moving pieces and parts. You have your ceremony, you have your cocktail hour, you have your reception, and then in your reception you'll have all sorts of planned festivities, a cake cutting, speeches, dances, and all of those events and activities need to be properly planned out and timed throughout the evening. And what's in between all of these events? Transitions. You need someone that can help to properly manage the flow of the event and transition from one event and activity to the next. If you have 100 to 200 guests that need to be moved from the ceremony to cocktail hour and then cocktail hour to reception, it's super important to have someone that can help to transition the event. An announcement from the DJ can definitely fall on deaf ears, and you don't want to start the reception an hour late because you weren't able to transition people nicely from the ceremony to cocktail hour and then cocktail hour to reception. And what happens if there is a delay and dinner ends up being an hour later? Someone needs to inform the catering team so that they don't serve a cold meal. Because if they were planning on cooking dinner at 5 and people aren't going to be eating until 6, that's a problem. So you need someone that can help to manage the timeline, make sure that things continue to run on schedule, and if for whatever reason it can't remain on schedule, that everybody on the vendor team is informed accordingly so that things continue to run smooth. And the third reason why you should have a wedding day of coordinator. Vendor management. Now, I know you chose your vendor team carefully, you properly vetted your vendors, and you trust your vendors, otherwise you wouldn't have hired them. But we're all human, people make mistakes, miscommunications happen all the time. So it's important that everybody is on the same page. Without a day of coordinator, all of your vendors are going to be working on their own timelines. And in most cases, that works out fine. But if in the case that there is a miscommunication, you're really not going to find out about it until the day of when a problem arises. For example, if your photographer is working on one timeline and your DJ is working on another, that might cause a lot of confusion, and they most likely didn't take it upon themselves to make sure that they're on the same page with the other vendors, because they might not even know who the other vendors are until the day of your wedding. So one service that I offer my wedding day of coordination clients is one timeline that covers everything. I need to know when vendors plan on arriving, setting up, when they plan on breaking down, so I can help out if something goes wrong before it's too late. I hear horror stories all the time of vendors having the wrong address, or their GPS sends them down the wrong path, or things that are out of their control. And if I can anticipate that they're not there on time, I can maybe find out why before it becomes an issue, or fix the problem before it becomes a serious one. So I'm not only the wedding planning partner for you, the couple, but I'm also the partner in crime for the vendor team, and making sure that everything goes smooth for the vendor team as well. Which is another great segue into the fourth reason to have a wedding day of coordinator. They are your point of contact. What happens if something does go wrong and you don't have a point of contact, you don't have a day of coordinator? Who do you think they're gonna call when something goes wrong and needs to be fixed? You, the couple. The last thing that you want on your wedding day is to be the one that everyone is telling the issues to. I know no one likes to hear this, but things go wrong. It's a wedding, it's a giant event. Something always goes wrong, something always comes up that needs to be fixed. The day of coordinator is your point of contact, not only for you, but for your vendors and your guests as well. So that they don't have to bother you with things that come up. That all goes through and delegated through the coordinator. So it's important that the couple can just sit back, relax, and not have to worry about any problems that may arise on your wedding day. And last, but certainly not least, reason number 5 why you should have a wedding day of coordinator. We are your personal assistant. We are here for you, the couple. The most important thing for me at the end of the day is to make sure that you're happy, and that you might not even know the problems that are arising, because you're enjoying yourself and you can just relax and enjoy the day that you've been putting all this time and energy into planning. You need me to run out and do an errand for you? I got you. You want another refill on your drink? I got you. That is my job, is to make sure that you have everything that you need. You've spent all this time and energy planning this big day, this one of the best days of your life. You deserve to just relax and enjoy it. That's what this is all about, right? If you spent all this money planning a wedding, I don't know, like thousands of dollars planning a wedding, don't you want to enjoy it? So I think that's a pretty good reason to hire a day of coordinator, right? So that's all for today, guys. I know I'm a little biased. I appreciate you guys listening to my fairly passionate TED Talk about day of coordination, but I think I made a pretty good case for why you should have one, because at the end of the day, you don't want to have to worry about a thing. You want to just be able to relax and enjoy, and a day of coordinator will let you do that. So if you found this helpful, please like this video, subscribe to my channel. I put out new content each week, and I can't wait to share more wedding tips, tricks, and advice with you all. Until next time, happy wedding planning.